tonight. Jamaica yesterday recorded 2 COVID-19 related deaths, increasing deaths to 1,051, while 68 new cases were recorded, ranging in age from 1 to 94 years. Minister Olivia Grange urges strict compliance of protocols ahead of the reopening of the entertainment sector. Still tonight, the National Solid Waste Management Authority is imploring citizens to be better custodians of the environment and to stop the practice of illegal dumping. And the close protection officer assigned to Minister of Finance, Dr. Nigel Clark, lost his life in a 3-vehicle collision along the Cooper's Pen Main Road in Trelawney yesterday afternoon. Good evening. In COVID-19 updates tonight, Jamaica yesterday recorded 2 COVID-19 related deaths, taking the total of fatalities from the virus to 1,051. The deceased are 2 males from St. Thomas aged 58 and 69 years, while 1 additional case is under investigation, increasing the total of cases under investigation now to 122. Meanwhile, there were 68 new cases ranging in age from 1 to 94 years, increasing total cases to 49,909, of which 19,039 are active. Of the new cases, 45 are women and 23 are men. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported that 21 of the cases were recorded in St. Anne, 13 cases were recorded in St. Catherine, 8 cases each were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew and Westmoreland, 5 each in St. James and Hanover, 4 in Clarendon, 2 cases were recorded in St. Elizabeth, and 1 case each in St. Mary and Trelawney. In the meantime, there were 134 additional recoveries, increasing the total of recovered persons to 29,456. In the meantime, it's in our hands is the message from the Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, Olivia Grange, to entertainment industry practitioners and members of the public ahead of the reopening of the entertainment sector. The government has restricted activities in the entertainment sector since last year as part of measures to prevent COVID-19 infections. Despite a significant reduction in the number of new cases, the reproduction rate, as well as the positivity rate, Minister Grange said there is the danger that the numbers could rise if we all do not follow protocols for the hosting of entertainment activities. As of July 1, the government will lift the prohibition on entertainment events such as outdoor concerts, parties, round robins, festivals, community events, corporate mixers, as well as handing over and groundbreaking ceremonies. The organizers of small events, defined as activities with a maximum of 100 people in total, will be allowed to make applications for permits as they normally would through their local authorities. The authorities will in turn work with organizers to ensure that the protocols are in place for a safe event. However, the organizers of large events with more than 100 people in attendance must begin their application process with the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. The ministry says they will provide guidance and support towards final submission to the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, the entity that grants permission for events to take place. Minister Grange is encouraging event organizers to send applications or queries to mcges2021@gmail.com or call 876-565-7985. Continuing with the news tonight, opposition spokesman on finance Julian Robinson has recommended that the government should use unclaimed bank balances to fund concessionary loans to small and micro businesses which have suffered significantly during the novel coronavirus pandemic and have been unable to access state assistance due to their informal nature. Speaking yesterday at a virtual Jamaica Chamber of Commerce forum on issues affecting the economy, Mr. Robinson argued that people who have lost their jobs, those on the fringes of the economy, and many small businesses have been struggling to stay afloat, while others have gone out of business. In pointing out that there are billions of dollars in unclaimed balances which the government could access, Mr. Robinson said, quote, "We are proposing that the government uses the monies that are unclaimed bank balances to establish a fund specifically for small and micro businesses," end quote. Mr. Robinson pointed out that even with the initiatives launched by the government to help businesses through the crisis caused by the pandemic, there is still a significant segment of the small and micro business sector which remains on the verge of bankruptcy. The opposition spokesman said his proposal would allow for money to be loaned to these businesses at concessionary interest rates and include a moratorium of between 18 and 24 months for repayment, giving persons time to resuscitate their operations. In other news tonight, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, is imploring citizens to be better custodians of the environment and stop the practice of illegal dumping. Here is Colleen May with more on this story.
The National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, is calling on all Jamaicans to join the campaign against illegal dumping. Recently, 2 perpetrators were ticketed for breaches under the National Solid Waste Management Act for creating an illegal dump site along Perkins Boulevard in St. Andrew. Enforcement officer at the agency, Claudette Richardson, explained the circumstances surrounding that incident.
We got a call at NSWMA about trucks being dumping. On reaching the area, we observed a truck dumping off. I accosted that driver and asked him for some ID, and we ticketed him for the dumping. Also give him a notice to clean up the area after I ticketed him. So we are in the area from day by, day in, day out, observing and watching if any more come in. But it seems as if the drivers correspond with drivers. So they tell them not to come here. After they dump so many, they tell them not to come here. So what we did, we get to one Mr. Hunter, because he's the owner for most of the trucks them. So we get to one Mr. Hunter, and he confessed about his truck. He said that he don't know where the trucks is going when they take up the debris. We tell him he has to know where his trucks has been going with the debris. And what we did, we gave him some tickets for the rest of the debris that was in at the area at this point. We gave him ticket for those also. So we are in the area now every day, watching and observing. And at nights, like in the evening, about 6 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, we are observing to see if any other trucks are coming to dump.
Ms. Richardson also pointed out that this is an all-island operation and warned other perpetrators who practice illegal dumping that they will be found and charged.
What had happened, NSWMA is all across the island looking out for things like these, because Jamaica Beauty is our duty. And we are here to prosecute, fine, and confine people that do this. So nobody but I think say they have the opportunity. We are not there, so they feel to say we are not there looking. We are all over the island looking out for trucks and people that dump on the sidewalks, in the gully, on the roadway, anywhere. So you better watch out for us. We are coming at you. We can get your license plate, we can find where you're living and come there and ticket you. Up to last week, that's what we do in Spanish Town. We see a man dumping, take his license plate, not us see, there was a citizen that see, get his license plate, we find his house, we show him the video of him dumping, and we find him. We ticket him for that. So we will find you anywhere in Jamaica. Anywhere you are, we will find you.
Executive Director of the authority, Audley Gordon, says the clearing of illegal dumps can cost the NSWMA anywhere from $500,000 to $2 million. This cost, he explained, impairs their ability to deliver the domestic service.
We are here because of our annoyance with the proliferation of mini dumps right across Jamaica. There is something going wrong with our thinking. Too much people can dump wantonly, illicitly, with no regard to the cost to the environment or the cost to the taxpayers of this country. Let me make it abundantly clear that the mini dumps you create will cost you in some way or the other. It is your cost to bear. You might wonder how it costs you. Let me give you some ways how the mini dumps cost. If we have to clear this mini dump, we have to get heavy duty equipment. We can't ask the common laborer to lift these to put on a truck. The heavy duty equipment costs money. Then we'd have to pay truckers because the NSWMA don't own tipper trucks. We own compactors. These things can be carried in a compactor. So there's cost all round. Not to mention the security cost and other attending costs that will come. Who you think bears that cost? You, your taxes. So stop it. Let us re-evoke that civic pride that guided our parents and foreparents. Let us go back to that consciousness that our grandparents had when they see the public space around them as their duty to maintain. Let us get rid of this thing that has crept up in the culture where we believe we can just dirty up at will and somebody will come behind us to take it up. Sure, if somebody come behind you and take it up, it will be a cost to you.
He further implored citizens to be better custodians of the environment.
We want the citizens to know that we are relying on them in this holy partnership to keep Jamaica clean. We were able to find the perpetrator that have created this mess on Perkins Boulevard. We didn't just find the perpetrator, but we were able to ticket the perpetrator well over $100,000, and also they will be cleaning up the space. It's their duty to do. And if they fail, having been ticketed, they will have to discuss it with a judge where they could be fined up to $500,000. We expect them to honor their part of the bargain. They will pay the fine and they will clean up the space. But it leads me, even while I speak to the citizens' participation, to the importance of engaging technology. We have an app, the NSWMA app, that you can download from the Google Play Store. That app is doing wonders for us. When our citizens use the app, they remain anonymous. They just have to upload, send the information, we will take it from there.
Residents of Perkins Boulevard said they are tired of having people coming into their community to dump their waste there.
Couple months, we have problem with the place, man, because we live in the community. And for see this not right for everybody. And I'm saying the people, we are come through it there. If you don't want to catch them, I don't have to do a park and yes, and wait till them stop yes, so I want to come out on them. You don't go catch them. And not just me, the whole community not pleased about this. This is a mess, brethren. You can't have this in your community where if you drive past every day, your kids them up. This supposed to even be a playground instead of a dump ground. I plant some trees over there. You can't have yourself a dump ground, man. That means that the people are better than the people in the banks. They might cost the people in the banks and the people in the banks for this. I hurt over it, man. I don't feel pleased over it. And I know me alone. Most of the people complain, but they have nobody to complain to.
Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
Still tonight, the close protection officer assigned to Minister of Finance, Dr. Nigel Clark, lost his life in a three-vehicle collision along the Cooper's Pen main road in Trelawney yesterday afternoon. He has been identified as Sergeant Marlon Smith, who was assigned to the Protective Services arm of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. Reports from the Trelawney Police coming into our news center tonight are that shortly after 5:30 p.m., Smith was traveling at the head of the minister's convoy that was heading from Kingston to Montego Bay. Upon reaching a section of the Cooper's Pen main road, he allegedly lost control of the vehicle that collided with a Honda CR-V and then crashed into a flatbed trailer that was hauling heavy construction equipment. The impact of the crash sent Mr. Smith's vehicle off the roadway into bushes. The vehicle then burst into flames. The fire department and the police were summoned, and Mr. Smith's charred remains were later removed from the burnt vehicle. Two persons who were traveling in the Honda CR-V were transported to the Falmouth Hospital for medical attention. Mr. Smith was considered to be a veteran in his department. Still making Mello TV news tonight, the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, is probing the death of 20-year-old Markland Hales while in custody at the Lionel Town Police Station in Clarendon on Monday. He was accused of killing his pregnant girlfriend. Police reports coming into our news center are that during the distribution of meals, Hales was seen hanging from the back vent grill, or the grilled vent at the back of his cell, by a cord and a merino in a suspected suicide. It was further reported that Hales was observed earlier that morning during cell inspection. Indecom stated that Hales was the only inmate being housed in the cell at the time of his death. The investigative body added that an officer who was assigned to cell guard duty provided an initial account to Indecom investigators, and other officers will be required to furnish a statement and attend the offices of Indecom to be interviewed as required in relation to this incident. Indecom further stated the investigation is in its early stages and will include a review of the station diaries as well as the recording of statements from other inmates, noting that these actions will assist in determining the sequence of events from the time Hales was taken into police custody until he died. Indecom said that the post-mortem examination will also provide confirmation of his cause of death. Hales, who was identified by the police as the man who allegedly killed his girlfriend in Rodenhall District, Clarendon, was taken into custody on Sunday, June 20, after 21-year-old Tashika McKay was found by a relative with her throat slashed. It is believed the killing stemmed from a domestic dispute. Hales was reportedly taken to the hospital and treated for injuries he sustained from stones that were hurled during the arrest. One officer was also treated according to reports from the Constabulary's Corporate Communications Unit, CCU. And those are some of the stories making news tonight. We will return with other stories as Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett is calling on global and regional tourism stakeholders to redouble their efforts to facilitate the speedy recovery of the international tourism industry and, by extension, the global economy. And come the first week of July, residents of Adelphi and surrounding areas will benefit from a new modern health center that is being built about 100 meters from the location of the old health center. But first, we'll go to a break and then join Christopher Scott with the latest in sports.